Hahn of Hahn and Humphrey, heard here weekdays 1 to 3. Did you think that Cam Newton was completely out of line, A, for wearing gold cleats, and B, for walking off the stage?
No, he was out of line for making a business decision on that fumble. That's when he was out of line. You either go for the fumble or you don't. There is no in between.
Now, even though like we crush Andy Dalton for getting hurt, going after fumbles and stuff like that and trying to make tackles.
You know what? My quarterback is Ryan Fitzpatrick, who still doesn't know how to slide. So
that is fair.
That's where I'm coming from.
Alan Hahn joins us, and Hahn, we haven't spoke to you since Derek Fisher was let go as the head coach of the Knicks. Was this unexpected to you?
Yeah, it was a surprise. I mean, Derek was a coach that had a lot to learn, and we saw that from the very beginning. And I really thought that, Phil wanted to give him every opportunity to learn and to become a good coach. And there was evidence this season. There were games where you felt like, he was starting to figure it out, and there were other times, obviously, where you questioned some decisions that were made. But I didn't think Phil would do it in the middle of the season. I thought, if anything, if they wanted to make a change, they'd do it at the end of the season. So there was a lot of stuff that was going on. I think you saw him breaking away from the triangle a little bit, running a lot more pick and roll. He wasn't leaning on some of the veteran coaches that Phil put on his staff, one of them being Kurt Rambis, who took over for him. And I think Phil just started seeing a disconnect, and he's all about, everything working in concert together. So I think once that started happening, I think Phil felt like he had to make a change. And as far out as they are right now of a playoff spot, I think he was just hoping to keep hope alive for this season.
Now, I'm a unapologetic Knicks fan, so I'm one of those people that I'm even mocking myself on this. A couple weeks ago, it's the greatest thing in the world. The Knicks have a shot, and now I'm like down in the dumps and ready to.
It's like from the movie. Oh no, we suck again.
Yeah, Major League.
No, not Major League. It was Bobby Boucher.
Oh, Waterboy, right? Dang it. I missed the reference. Yeah. So where are these Knicks? Are they, hey, we're way better than we were last year, or abandon all hope and burn everything you own that's orange?
Well, I hate orange anyway. I like the blue. But, no, and obviously you guys hear our show up there. So we were saying this at 20-20 when down here, and boy, the New York media never does this. They never jump to conclusions or reach too soon, do they?
Never.
The stories were, this is a playoff team. The standards have to be higher. You have to demand more out of this group. This team, could be something special. And like Rick and I were both like, whoa, like hang on a second. Like this group is far from complete. And, there's still going to be some rough patches. I saw the schedule, and it's like, you see some of these games coming up. Yeah, they're competitive, and that's great. But, you're asking them to do, they go from 17 wins, you add some talent. It's very difficult to double your win total. Like, that would have been a modest goal, to double your win total, and that's not going to be good enough to make the playoffs. So the playoff talk to me was premature, and then the fact that they went into a tailspin after that shows you that they just weren't ready. They're good enough to be competitive, but there's enough nights where you can see, and I said this today on our show, you could change the coach all you want. You could bring in anybody you want. But things aren't really going to change, and this team isn't really going to be a true team that you could start to look at and say they have a chance to grow into contender until they address the most important position, and that's the lead guard. They don't have one. They haven't really had one in years. They haven't made a priority. And until they do that, and they're trying to right now, but until they get that guy that can run the offense and be this focal point and break down defenses with dribble penetration, they're not going to be able to be competitive every single night. It's just they don't have enough to do that right now.
Alan Hahn of Hahn and Humphrey, heard here weekdays 1 to 3 on 104.5 The Team.
Hahn, Levac and I disagree about the Yankees offseason. We both liked what they were able to accomplish in the trade market, but I am not a fan of Starlin Castro, and I'm not a huge fan of Chapman because the bullpen was already good. What did you think of their offseason?
Well, I think that they're probably hoping to win games like 7-6, hoping that the bullpen takes care of it. I mean, when CC Sabathia tells you that he's feeling as good as he's felt in 3 years, that's good news for CC Sabathia. But if you're relying on him to ever be an ace, it's not going to happen. What I want to see is how do you feel in April after spring training? Because he's older, the knee's been an issue. And I want to make sure that he's a guy that's at least good enough to get the ball every 5 starts, let alone be a stopper. Everybody else is a question mark. Tanaka had the issues with the elbow, and then he had the bone spurs taken out of the elbow that nobody knew about. What's his story? I mean, can you rely on him? Because he was so good in his first year until the elbow issue started, and since then he's been so inconsistent. Speaking of inconsistent, Ivan Nova, Michael Pineda, you don't know what you're getting out of those guys. Evaldi was terrific last year, really started to come on, and then he started having arm issues late in the year. To me, that's their biggest problem. They've got enough to be a decent offensive team. They were last year, and I think the bullpen will keep them where they won't blow leads. It's going to be very, very good, but the starting pitching's everything. And if they're going to have to put up 4 or 5 runs a game just to be competitive, that's a lot to ask for a team that's a little bit older, and you know they're going through a transition. So, I mean, I'm in wait-and-see mode with this team. I wasn't thrilled about the offseason, so I'm with you. But I do think, if anything, they're at least kind of in the game. But, I mean, if that's the new Yankee way, I mean, I miss the days when it was championship or bust.
Well, since you don't agree with me, Hahn, let's change the subject.
See, that's a good host. If I don't like the direction, we go in another direction.
Well, and I'm going to compliment you, too. You guys are ahead of the curve on this whole Dwight Howard trade talk thing. What are you hearing now? Where do you think he's going to go?
Where I think he's going to go, I don't know, because he's got, again, he opts out after a year, so there's not, I don't think the Rockets are getting much for him. I know a lot of people are starting to throw out some ideas. The one I threw out was, if I was Charlotte, if I was Michael Jordan, and you look at the East, it's not, there's a lot of parity, so there's more wins in the East, but it's superficial. I still think it's a one-team race, and that's the Cavaliers. However, if I'm Charlotte, maybe I take that chance, and I try to get Dwight Howard. He and Jeremy Lin have a relationship. You can run a ton of pick and roll with those two. He can give you the rebounding you're lacking. He can help you with your defense as well. And you get him out of Houston where he's miserable. He also reunites with Patrick Ewing, who he worked with in Orlando. I like that idea, but I don't know if that's what Charlotte wants to do, because they might have other ideas in mind. And plus, Dwight's just been a miserable guy. He's the phoniest happy guy you've ever seen, because he always comes off as happy and friendly and happy-go-lucky, but really deep down, he's miserable. He's hard to keep happy. He complains a lot behind the scenes. And, that's something I think that any team who brings him on, they have to deal with that. Best case scenario, if you ask me, Miami Heat. They should think about it, because they want to move Hassan Whiteside anyway. And if you put him in that environment, the Pat Riley environment, you got Spoelstra, you got Wade and Bosch to keep him in line, that could be an interesting scenario. And then maybe the Heat kind of look at the Cavaliers and say, what you got? So, curious to see who makes that move, but it does sound like the Rockets are pretty intent on getting them out of there.
Hahn, where are you and Humpty going to be for your show tomorrow?
Oh, yeah, Resorts World Casino in Queens, and my favorite place to be, obviously. They put us in, it's Bar 360 it's called, right? So it's right in the middle of the whole casino. It's a gigantic place. And off to the left are the blackjack tables. Now, it's obviously video. There aren't actual live dealers, but they have video screen. And the dealers, I got to tell you, I mean, we're talking about dimes here, serious dimes.
Oh, yeah.
And they have one who's blonde, and I tend to like blondes. And she just always will look over, and for some reason catches my eye and makes this kind of wave, come on over and play. And I'm always like, Rick, look, she's calling me again. So I think we're gonna storyboard her too, and we're gonna come up with a movie concept based just on that. It'll be a creepy movie about a degenerate who falls in love with a video blackjack dealer.
I love it, and can I reserve premiere tickets now, or do I have to wait?
You're in. You're on the red carpet for sure.
Hahn from Hahn and Humpty, heard here weekdays 1 to 3. Be there tomorrow when he falls in love with a video screen blackjack dealer.
I got to throw one more thing in though. So we had a caller today. You might have heard it. A Knicks fan who was talking about he had a perfect idea for the Knicks head coach. You guys up there, probably if you heard it, probably everybody flipped out. He said Jim Boeheim.
Oh.
I mean, can you absolutely look? First of all, I shot it down. He was like, no way at his age he comes down. But I mean, everybody up there that knows Jim Boeheim knows there's no way he's leaving Western New York.
No, not even remotely possible. But I wonder, we could actually recruit some free agents with him, though. He would actually have that ability.
Well, it's the one guy that Carmelo Anthony certainly has won a championship with, right?
Yeah, the last one we know he listened to.
He won a gold medal.
Well, yeah, but who listen? He didn't.
He did win a gold medal, and Jim Boeheim was on the coaching staff.
That's right.
So there you go.
Maybe there's more to this than we thought.
Might be onto something. Yeah, we'll see.
Thanks for your time, brother. We appreciate it. Can't wait to hear you from the casino tomorrow.
You got it, boys. Take care.